Have you ever noticed how strange it feels when somebody asks you what you do and it's like your mind just suddenly goes blank? I mean, you know what you do. You care about your work, you've thought about it deeply, you've probably explained it completely clearly to yourself, like earlier that day. But now someone's in front of you, and all of a sudden, you just feel yourself tightening up. It's like your mind starts racing and you try to sound intelligent. You're searching for just the right words. But instead of just simply talking, you're becoming very aware of them. What are they thinking? Do they understand what I'm trying to say? Are they just politely listening? And so now you're not just sharing something, you're trying to manage the discomfort that you feel while also trying to keep connection with that person. And that shift can happen very, very fast. So fast that you might not even realize it until like later. And then what do? You replay the conversation in your head and you say things like, why did I say it like that? I know what I meant, but where did my words go? And most people think the answer is better communication, more confidence, better wording. Sure, sometimes those skills can help. But honestly, this goes a little deeper than strategy or better wording. Because a lot of the time, the real issue is what happens inside you when you start feeling exposed. Because once that feeling shows up, your attention shifts. And instead of staying grounded in what you feel is true, you start monitoring the other person. You're reading their face, you're checking their reaction, their tone. And when that happens, it can feel like you just lose access to your words. And it's not because there's anything wrong with you. There's not. It's because something automatic kicked in to protect you. I used to do this constantly. I thought if I could just figure out the perfect way to explain myself, then everything would finally click. And I tried. Every new version I came up with sounded great in my head until it was time to say it out loud. And then the same thing would happen again. And eventually I realized the goal was not about becoming perfectly confident. It's about learning how to notice the moment sooner before that old reaction completely takes over. So learning how to pause long enough before responding a little more consciously instead of automatically. And frankly, that's a skill because most people only notice the moment once they're already either deep inside of it, they're already over explaining, shrinking themselves, trying to fix the discomfort. And if you don't know how to handle moments like that any differently, you're not alone. Most people were never taught anything different. So what does practicing choice actually look like? At first, it can look pretty small. It might be like, ooh, I notice I did that thing again. It can look like catching yourself before you completely change what you wanted to say. It can look like staying there just a little bit longer instead of pulling away from the discomfort. And over time, something starts changing. You stop editing yourself so heavily. You stop trying to sound like right or impressive. There's less performing, less filtering, less trying to manage other people's reactions. And because of that, people start hearing more of you and your words. Not because discomfort just disappears, but because you stop disappearing inside the discomfort. And that is a big reason why this work matters so much to me. Because I know what it's like to leave conversations feeling frustrated with myself. Like, I know I had clarity earlier, and then suddenly I feel lost to the access of it all. I know what it feels like when you can begin to see it change, when you can begin to notice that moment sooner, when you don't abandon yourself as fast, and when you stop automatically collapsing into that same old reaction. And those moments start to add up, and then other things start changing too. So that's the kind of exciting work we practice inside the Steady Leader Lab, learning how to recognize what happens in those moments when stress or visibility, discomfort just suddenly change how you respond. And then we practice different ways of handling those moments in real time. The lab meets weekly and you can join anytime because we're constantly practicing ways to work through these real conversations, real business situations, and moments that actually challenge you. So if you want to see more about what the lab is about, I'll put a link in the description. See you in the next video.